Here I go. I am live. Hello, folks. I really appreciate you joining me today. I hope all my systems are working. I haven't done this in a few weeks, about a month. So, hello. I am going to try to do two things at one time: host and run this podcast. So, I hope you were able to see the intro video that I did. So, let me get started. I am Will Sullivan. I am the host of this Wednesday with Will live podcast, and I created it a year ago. It's actually my my project for the last 52 weeks. So let me start here. I want to know where you're tuning in from today, and if you are team live or team replay. Also, I understand that many of you will listen to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google. So always feel free to drop me a line. So let me get started. Okay. Today's topic is confession of a kindness advocate. Let me like kind of reintroduce myself to the audience here. Hold on, I want to make sure this banner's off because I want you to look at this beautiful PowerPoint that I've created to either wow you or to bore you. I hope it's not the latter of the two. Okay, get serious now, Will. Confessions of a Kindness Advocate. 2 years ago, around this time of the year, I decided to completely and totally change my life. And I have actually spent the last 18 months of my life experimenting and trying new things and building a community. When I left my previous job at the Met, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, I had maybe on LinkedIn a couple of thousand. I was trying to reach couple of thousand followers, and now it's a community of over 30,000 followers. And I'm trying to understand how that's happened. And my story is your story. So anybody that's watching this today, I hope you can learn a little bit about me, learn a little bit about the company I've created, but also learn how you could do exactly what I've been doing in your own way. So let me get going here. I'm going to pay full attention. I am the producer, the cameraman, the tech person, and the host. So please forgive me if I stop looking at you to pay attention to the details in the background. Okay, so let's get started with the title. Okay, I'm trying to make the case as to why the world would need more kind leaders. Something that I did unknowingly for 3 decades. So I want to talk about my experience to encourage somebody else out there in the audience. So here, what the heck is a kindness advocate, right? It's a title, and I'll confess, I am absolutely bad with titles. I've never liked them in my career. They were never important to me. And there were those in my life and during my career who said, because I didn't find titles important, that maybe held me back. So when I decided to create my own business, right, and start what I've been doing these last 18 months, I didn't want to put former blah or solely coach or blah, blah, blah. So I came up with kindness advocate. And you can see, I don't know if you're looking on a small screen, but kindness, the definition of kindness, and I'm reading it to you, the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate. Something that I would like to believe that I've been most of the time. People who have worked with me, for me, maybe wouldn't always agree, but I think generally that's the person that I've been my entire life. And then an advocate. I'll read you the definition. A person who publicly supports or recommends a particular cause or policy. So I'm going to use my voice, my platform, my story to be an advocate for just that, for being kind. It doesn't mean being nice. It doesn't mean being a doormat. It does not mean that you are stupid. If you are kind, you are probably one of the most authentic versions of yourself that you can be. So that's the title. So I want to go through all of these slides. Trust me, it's not all that many. I want to go through all of these slides, and then I will go double duty into the comments to see if you have any comments or questions. And here we go next. Okay, a little about me. I felt the need that I needed to reintroduce myself to this community. I've been doing what I've been doing for a while, but when I started this, as I said, it was a couple of thousand people that were in my community, and here it is now well over 30,000. So I approach things as though, of course, people know who I am. Of course, people know what I've done. But I think it's important to reintroduce myself. And this is something that I love to know about other people. What makes people tick? So I'm a native New Yorker who happened to become a leader of large teams. I thought it was an accident, but it was all on purpose. It was destined to be. I was supposed to be in New York City, surrounded by thousands of people each hour and just having the time of my life. I was privileged, honored, and blessed to have been part of various teams who worked with the public and behind the scenes to make the public happen. In my tenure at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, I was part of an ecosystem that helped 150 million visitors, tens of thousands of fellow colleagues over those almost 30 years. And each and every one of the encounters has shaped me in some sort of way. And while doing that, the teams that I worked with generated $1 billion worth of revenue. Now, this is the confession part of the show. I never did any of what I did for the numbers or the money. Although I am a numbers geek and an Excel spreadsheet geek, I always did it because I'm curious about people. The people around me, my colleagues, my teammates, my staff, everybody taught me something along the way. My visitor, my customer, put a name on it, my member taught me something along the way. And I was blessed to have worked for all those decades in New York City, never feeling like I really worked because I loved what I did. So here, the last bullet point here, I did all of this in the retail realm, and I did it in the museum realm, in the tourism realm. So what a blessing, right? You know, this native New Yorker, born into a very large family, really shy, finds his dream life in New York City, and at the peak of kind of coming into my own and living that dream, I decided I was going to change my life. So let me talk about that next. Okay, about my career, what you need to know about me, people who want to know more about me. For me, it was always about the team. Did I get it right all the time? No, but it was always about the team. And my role was to take care of the people who are taking care of the customers, period. It's that simple. So nothing fills me with more joy than being able to be surrounded by a whole bunch of people in a bit of organized chaos to truly understand what it is that needs to be done. And being a conduit, a connector, and a communicator. That's all I am. So I'm not the ideas guy necessarily, and I'm not the one that's going to have all the answers, but tap into a group, tap into a team, and magical things can happen. And I've been blessed to have been able to do that. So next, okay, about starting over, right? You know a little bit about who I am. I decided to change my life, and how did I know that? And there's three things that I think anybody who's contemplating a change, or anybody that's really come to know me needs to know. I think it's extremely important to know when it's time to leave the stage, right? We can get very comfortable in what we do. We can get very comfortable where we are. And I absolutely loved what I did at the Met. My final years there, being with the public and being with those teams, filled me with joy. But I understood um, the clock keeps ticking. How much time do I have left? How much energy do I have left? So I think it's really, really important that we understand that change is necessary because growth comes from change. You must change. You must change your location, your point of view, where you sit at the table, where you vacation, where you go to dinner, because that's where the good stuff is kept. You really, really, really need to understand that. And those of you who really do know me know that I love one of Dolly Parton's favorite quotes. It's a favorite of mine. Figure out who you are and do it on purpose. So starting over. You want to start over? How I started over? I just knew that I needed to just focus on having the drive to go to the next phase and having the courage to be able to do that. And I recognized it. Next thing I want to talk about starting over, because I really do want to get to a point here in the conversation where I can ask you all to put questions or comments in the chat here. So last week I hosted an audio room. And by the way, I do both this live video and the audio, and not to pick a favorite, right? But I love the audio events because it's interactive. I'm able to stand with a microphone and invite people up on stage with me, not in the same way I can do here. And I think I get the energy from the people around me and the people in the audience who share what it is that they want to share or want to ask. So last week I did this episode, again, learning a little bit more about me and my mission, if you will. Change your location, change your life. Change your perspective, change your life. 2 years ago, when I decided that it was time to change my life and leave the job that I loved, I instinctually knew I needed to do something different. I needed to follow that inner voice. I call the inner Will, I call him William. And I needed to follow William, who just told me, do it, go, don't worry. And I'm glad that I did. I am now sitting here coming to you live from my home in Rio de Janeiro. So I was not only be able to say goodbye to something that I loved, create a company, which I absolutely adore, met people and keep meeting people from around the world, even in this virtual realm, and everything has changed for me. So last week I talked about it, and I started to realize that, okay, this term, or what I see myself as is a kindness advocate, the world, I believe, is filled with kind people, filled with decent people, filled with people who want a better life for themselves, their family, their communities, and absolutely, I've got the drive to talk about it. So I'm going to use that platform. So again, next I'm going to go here to talk about, a little about me, about my approach to changing my life. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about starting your own business. I joined a community shortly after I left the Met, and it's called Community of Seven. And those of you who know Lan Fan know she does incredible work. And I spent a year in that community learning leadership skills, talking about different things. And one of the things that struck me, and one of the things that I had learned in that period of time, was this chart. Again, it's small. Wait, I'm pointing this way. Here, this way. This Japanese concept, which combines the iki, which means alive, and the gai, meaning about benefit or worth, the ikigai. So basically, what you have to do, and this is simple, this isn't the world according to Will, you need to figure out what you love, what you're good at, what does the world need, and can you make money doing that? When you get those 4 elements correct, you go smack dab in the middle of this chart and you can live a purpose-filled life. And I am absolutely positive that anyone can do it. You just need to be quiet and be able to. My tagline for the year is do less, be more, because in those moments of silence, you get to listen to your inner self. I get to listen to the inner William, and the answers that you are seeking come to you. So to wrap this slide up, what you need to do to start any business, start any venture, start any community, figure out what you love, what are you good at, does the world need it, and can you make money doing? And it's simple as that. It's age-old wisdom. It's nothing new here. So I wanted to share that with you. I'll tell you, this is supposed to be a show about confessions, so here's another confession. So when I decided to start my own business, I had no plan. I just knew the name, Aspiring Better Human. Just loved the name. I used that as a hashtag, and it was something I just knew I wanted to do. I made it into a company. I made it into a website, and with no real plan other than a gut reaction. I just needed to do something. So kept moving. As I told you, worked with Community of 7. I worked with other coaches. One coach out there that I highly recommend everybody get to know is Jordan Mendoza. He helped me build infrastructure in a way I couldn't do. This curious guy wanted to do all this tech stuff, but being able to work in a program where you can do complicated things, but done in an easy way where there's a decent person that's teaching you how to do it is wonderful. So here, no business plan. I actually took on a couple of clients. And the first client that asked me to do a job for them, I said, absolutely not. I don't do that. And I don't want to be part of the museum world anymore. I was trying to erase the will that was to become the will I am. What I realized in that particular piece was like, how can any of us erase our past, good, bad, ugly, with it's part of us. The good and bad is just part of us. So without a business plan, I took on clients. I started a podcast. I was sitting in my living room in New York City, and I decided I was going to do this. 52 weeks later, folks, I have done 45 shows. I think most of them, over 30 of them have been live. I've done a dozen audio shows, and I took about 7 weeks off. Sorry. But I was able to do all of this, and I've learned. And what happened? Almost 20,000 people clicked into the invites for these shows. Well over 10,000 have watched or listened to these broadcasts. And why? Maybe because it's just something that I like to talk about. But for me, I'm learning in real time. And so each and every time I host a show, join the show, I'm learning something new, and it's fulfilling my purpose. And then the last thing I want to say about this slide, about building a community, was I didn't know any of the technical stuff. I was just curious to learn it. I figured it out. I continue to figure it out. And I went to this community across all social media. It's now over 30,000 people. Again, I haven't done this for the numbers, but these numbers or these connections, real connections, keep happening because I'm just going on camera. I'm getting on posts. I'm getting on audio rooms to just talk about what drives me. And so the purpose of this is that you can do this too. Let me make sure that I'm not boring you. Maybe I can't see anything what the reactions are. Let me see, did I pass the slide? No. Okay. So when they tell you build a business and you're supposed to have a target audience and a plan, yes, all that stuff is very, very important. If you have investors, if there's things that you need to do, or I've been blessed enough not having the pressure to have an immediate paycheck, but target your audience. And so here I just put humans who care about other humans are my target audience. So when I take on projects or clients, they have to be people-centric. They have to focus, in my case, around the people who work with the public. I spent my entire life working in the public realm, caring for those who worked in the public realm. So it just makes total sense that my target audience would be to work with people who care about other people. But it's become more than that for me. It's become, yes, a business, and I've been blessed enough to have clients to be able to do that. But what is more important to me is the community that's been built. So here I have a post that I shared just a little while ago, not believing that the numbers grew to this big. And maybe my big number is small to some others, and maybe my number is huge to someone else. It's not about the numbers. It's about building a community that really, really cares about what you do. So that's my advice. My advice there. Let's see what else I said. I want to be mindful. It's 1:20. We have 10 minutes left, and I want to see if anybody has any questions. This is the business part. This is the commercial part, folks. So just pay attention here. What do? I get that question a lot. Okay, well, you're a kind guy. You talk about kindness and you do all this kind of inspirational stuff. But basically, my service is I do one-on-one coaching. I do team building, which is my favorite thing. I love public speaking. I think you get a sense from this particular video that I like to talk. And I've done this podcast. This is the end of season 2. I created all of this because it came from within, but it's absolutely, positively something that drives me to the next thing. And as I wrap up season 2, I don't know what the next thing is. I don't know when season 3 is going to be. I just know I'm in this kind of change pod, and I'm looking for my next big thing as I head back to New York soon. Oh, look at this on the screen. I finally made it. Erica Warfield. Erica Warfield, of the 29,999 people, other than you, that are in this community, I think you introduced me to 25,000 of them. So you're a sweetheart, and I thank you for that. Okay, last thing here. Okay, I created this show today. It's my finale. I'm wrapping it up, and I'm heading north and gonna figure out what I'm gonna do when I get back to my homeland. Making the case for kind leadership. Let's go through the definitions again. Kind, having or showing a friendly, generous, considerate nature. Leadership, the action of leading a group of people or an organization. Now, who can argue that the world needs people who can lead with being friendly, generous, or considerate? I'm not so sure that's common out there. And I want to be able to stand as an example to those who have followed me, watched me, worked with me. You can be a kind, decent person. You will make mistakes. You're not always going to be perceived as kind. You're not always going to be liked. But if you lead from a place of being kind, then you are able to be your most human, and you bring out the best in the team. Because let's face it, folks, anyone that thinks they're the leader with all the answers is not truly a leader. You cannot possibly have all the answers to anything in life. It's always about the community you're in. It's about the people that are working with the people in your business. So I stand as somebody who believes in that, wants to talk about it. I'd love to be invited to other podcasts where you'd want to talk about this. And I think that's my spiel. So that's my case. Who can argue that the world isn't in need of new leadership? Who can argue that the world is in this space where things need to change? And I want to use my platform, my voice, my community to be able to talk about it openly and freely. So this is what I have to say. Last slide, if you're still with me, I don't know if it's just me and Erica and maybe Michelle on the show right now because I haven't been paying attention to the comments, but I really want to thank everybody who has supported me, encouraged me, lifted me up, made me feel like I could keep doing this. And so really this show is actually dedicated to all of you. I'm looking at the clock here. I see I have 6 minutes left. So I will now just put myself up on screen. alone. Hello, hello, Will. How are you doing? It's always so much easier when you have a guest who can distract the audience while you're trying to do the screens here. So, okay. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments, and I may have missed them if you put them on earlier. And if you're interested in learning more about what I do, just look here down at the bottom. That's my website. Hopefully, you'll be able to connect with me. Let me now delve into the comments here. And I think we've got plenty of people. I have, oh, my dear friend Claudia from Lisbon has shown up. Michelle is here. Follow Michelle if you really, really want to transform your life. David Hansen, he's the president of my fan club, by the way. If you don't know David Hansen, Hansen, you got to get to know him. Oh, hello, Ruth. Thank you, thank you. Odette, Dominican Republic. We've met before. I pronounce your name in the Brazilian way, Odette. Very nice to have you here. David Gardner has joined us. Let me scroll down. And again, oh, Ligia, hello. How very nice to see you here. Okay, focus, Will. Focus, you're live. You have 4 minutes left. Anyone have any question for me and want to make a comment? Oh my God, there's Jordan Mendoza. I mentioned you, Jordan. There you are. We've got Erica with her kitty, Mimi, is on the laptop screen and speakers, completely enamored by your voice and face. Oh, aren't you just so kind? I've got Rebecca, oh, a former colleague here. I'm so glad you were able to join. Hope everything's okay at the Met. I hope the gala went well and maybe you were able to attend. Let's see, any more comments here? My dear friend, Mikkel, where are you? You were here. And we've got Robert Barry. It's not about the numbers, but that's a big number, Will. Yes, an auditor would say that, right, Rob? Of course you would have to say that. That's part of your bread and butter. You audit the numbers. Do you want to audit my numbers? I'd be happy to share my files. I'm a numbers geek in that particular sense. So let's see. I have, oh, Claudia's asking me for your next step. Is it going to be successful? You're a natural leader. You have very good intentions. You're very special. Congratulations. Full disclosure, I know Claudia most of my adult life. She's a dear friend. I consider her sister, and I'm so glad she joined us. And I did not pay her for that comment. Thank you, Claudia. I really appreciate it. Jordan, what are your plans for season 3? Jordan, I absolutely have no idea, and it fills me with joy. I don't know how to describe this, and I'm watching the time. I don't know how to describe this. 3 years ago, before the world shut with COVID, I had this inner knowing, and in my journals, I wrote that a change was coming. I didn't know what it was, but everything that I knew was going to change. I didn't know they were going to close the world, but hey, the world changed. I changed. I never imagined that I'd have my own business and I'd be doing what I'm doing today. I'm in that same space now. I'm wrapping up 6 months, almost 6 months here in Rio, going back to New York with that same sense. Something is waiting for me. I don't know what it is, and I'm filled with joy. But season 3 will be coming in a new way. I don't know how. Absolutely not. Oh, I got a heart from Claudia. I got a safe travels from Erica. You're living it. You're living in the flow. We talk about this, and if you've seen other episodes, Michelle Cordy and David Hansen have been my therapists, right? 2 years, almost 2 years, they've been my therapists, and we meet regularly and we talk about business and life and supporting one another. And I think absolutely positively, none of us can do this alone. I've got my coach there, Jordan, cheering me on, right? Awesome, big things are coming. None of us do this alone. We can't do this alone. So as I come to the last minute of this show, I want to thank everybody who tuned in live. And we're live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. You can also listen to this on any podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, whichever you prefer. And I guess I want to leave the audience with this, the community with this, is that I continue to want to use my presence to lift up others. We're not here for, at least for me, I only want to be surrounded by people who want to help others. That's it. Clients. I don't want to work with clients unless they genuinely care about the people they're wanting me to help. So that's it. And there's a comment here. Spot on. I know as a senior in high school, one day it dawned on me I'd be 50 in 2020. I think we're the same age. Well, anyway, let's not talk about age. Then this voice within sounded an alarm. 2020, not being 50. That never bothered me. It was that I should be concerned about 2020, and then we saw 2020. Erica, I love what you said, right? I think our spirits, I was the oldest 25-year-old that ever existed. Absolutely, totally. And I was an old man at 25. I'm now a teenager in spirit. And that's what matters. How are we going to show up each day with our energy, our enthusiasm, and pour into the world the very thing that you want more of? So, signing off as this kindness advocate, I ask you all to be kind to yourself first, be kind to others, and create communities and work in businesses that are kind to people. The world needs it, and it's not this big, lofty goal. We can all do it. And I appreciate each and every one of you for supporting me. You know where to find me. I can't wait to look in the comments to see what I've missed earlier. And thank you, folks. Keep it kind. This is Will here, signing off until season 3, whenever that may be. Let's talk soon. Stay in touch. You know where to find me. Bye, everyone. Appreciate you.